The content in this magazine could contain references of topics and difficult subject matter that may be triggering. Please honor yourself, inner knowing, and proceed with whatever help or guidance you feel is intuitively aligned. Welcome to Sovereign Magazine Podcast. I'm Nicole George, CEO and founder of Sovereign, and I'm so happy you are here. Today, we are joined by Arin Dosh, our in-house astrologer, who is here to guide us through the cosmic energies of the moon. Arin helps us understand how the celestial rhythms can support our journey to embodying our sovereign selves. Let us dive into what the stars have to share with us today. Keep listening to hear all of the intuitive messages meant for you. Hello, welcome to 2026. We have an incredible new announcement. We are going to be bringing you astrology each and every full and new moon. And today, our in-house astrologer, Arin Dosh, is here with us. She specializes in traditional and Hellenistic astrology. Her work blends ancient techniques with very clear, grounded guidance. She offers natal, horary, and electional readings with a focus on timing, remediation, and meaningful client support. She also has a background in counseling and social work, so her approach to astrology is very therapeutically advanced, and she helps her clients really meet life with a more self-understanding and sovereignty, and definitely with a little bit of soul. So welcome today, Arin.
Thank you so much, Nicole. It's such a pleasure to be here. I'm excited to talk to you about the astrology of 2026 today.
I'm super excited because I have no idea what's going on for 2026, and we get to learn all about it with you.
Okay, let's dive in. What I really want to focus on today, obviously there's a lot of astrology for an entire year, so we need to look at the broader view. And I think when we do that, we find that 2026 is really a threshold year. And that's the way I'd like us to think about it. The major configuration that I want to talk about today is what I'm thinking of as a grand sextile of innovation. First, I want to talk about some dates and some sort of technical aspects, and then we're going to dive into really what that means and how to integrate it and how to use it constructively. Okay? So first of all, we have a Saturn-Neptune conjunction forming at the 0 degree Aries point. This is a very sensitive world point. It is the spring equinox degree. So this is a big deal. It feels like a birth of something. And the Saturn-Neptune conjunction is fairly rare. It only happens about once every 35 years. The last one we had was in 1989. So if you were old enough, you can maybe think about that time and get a hint. That's the midpoint of this grand sextile. 60 degrees away, and that's the nature of the sextile aspect, we have Uranus in very early Gemini. And he visited back in the summer of 2025, think June, July, and August. We saw actually all of these aspects for a brief window that I'm talking about. In Gemini, Uranus is very busy. He's Promethean. That's his nature. He wants to liberate us, set us free. And in Gemini, it's probably about thought patterns. This is really an opportunity to do that. Collectively, it's potentially about innovation through technology, thought, communication, language. Then Uranus is trining Pluto in early Aquarius, another air sign. So we have both Uranus and Pluto in the air signs. That's a 120 degree aspect between those two, and it always is between signs of the same element. Then Pluto is also making that 60 degree sextile aspect to Saturn-Neptune in early Aries. Pluto has been in Aquarius since 2023, off and on. He is firmly there at this point and will be there for about 20 years. So for quite a long time, he has been revolutionizing, again, technology. And again, I think collective thought. Aquarius is very much about the collective, the community. And Pluto has been transforming our understanding of what that is. So what does this mean, this aspect? The aspects themselves are harmonious. The sextile and the trine are the most harmonious of all the aspects. They work cooperatively together. I think that's very promising and very favorable in general. It shouldn't be chaotic. We should be able to use these forces together constructively, relatively easily. So that's great news. And we can think of Neptune in Aries as an inspired vision. Fire always brings inspiration. And in early Aries, that's something brand new. We might have gotten a glimpse of it in the summer of 2025 when these planets were there, but they have since went back in the fall and the winter to wrap up old business. And here in 2026, February, March, and then by April, we have this configuration and it's set all year. So we're going to be developing this inspired vision. Saturn's bringing structure to the inspired vision. We have this combination here. We have this idea, this vision for the future. We have the building blocks to make it a reality. We have Uranus, breakthroughs around thoughts, around the stories we tell ourselves about what's possible, around communication, around technology. And then we have Pluto. And he's transforming our relationships with our communities. He's reorganizing social structures. And so if you can blend those all together, what are you doing individually? I think we can ask ourselves, like, what ideas did I have in the summer? What was crumbling? What structures were dissolving and falling away and out of my life? What was trying to leave? What sort of started to blossom in the void, in the space that was left? And what did I feel drawn towards creating? Because whatever that was for you in the summer is very likely what you're going to be working on for the entirety of 2026 and probably beyond. So it's a really exciting year. I think we get to step into this new vision. And I think with these planets in Aries, we're going to have the courage and the faith.
Wow.
To trust the path ahead. Yeah.
I'm scared.
Don't be scared.
Oh gosh, what was happening in June, July, and August? And I'm trying to think back. And then I think about it like it was planting the seed back then, right?
Right, exactly.
And now we watered it. Now it's going to blossom.
Think of it as foreshadowing in a book or a story. That was the foreshadowing. So it might not be exactly like that. That might have been more the catalyst, or yes, like a seed planting. It's certainly not formed yet. But when you look back on it in hindsight, as things are always clear that way, I think you'll see that summer and go, oh yeah, that's like when everything started. Yeah, don't be scared. The summer may have been rough with things falling away because that is what Saturn-Neptune does, right? If Saturn is the wall and Neptune is the wave, it dissolves. It has the potential to dissolve the entire thing. But nature abhors a vacuum, right? So always when these things happen, when these structures fall out of our lives, other things spring up in their place, especially on the spring equinox point. Spring is right in the word, right? And you think of snow crocuses and daffodils and tulips in the springtime bursting through the ground, and the hope and the faith in renewal that they bring.
I just remember, and for anybody who knows, for some reason, I have tried to study astrology. I've tried to remember the planet. I have to be reminded every single time. I'm not going to get them right, so don't expect me to. It's just how my brain works. I don't know. It just does not want to remember. I want to remember, but I just can't. But if I remember correctly, August was an absolutely horrific firestorm, if you will, of a month emotionally for me. Was Pluto around then? Because I think he's the planet of destruction, right?
Yeah, certainly can be. Pluto is Hades. He's the god of the underworld. So, yes, there is transformation and death in the sense of transformation. Transformation is like almost the cliche keyword for Pluto at this point. But Pluto also rules power. And anytime Pluto is activated, I think we see the revelation of secrets, hidden power dynamics. Sometimes there are power struggles, things that are underworld, right? And especially Sun-Pluto conjunctions or Sun-Pluto oppositions is what we would have had in August.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we've got a snapshot into 2026. Before we go, if there was one takeaway of what we could all do to prepare, like should we get ourselves a candle? Should we get ready to journal? Like, what would be one ritualistic thing that would kind of find what we would need in 2026?
You know, I may be biased because I do love my meditation practice, but to me, very early 2026, because the Saturn-Neptune conjunction isn't until February, and then Uranus is the last one to move into place for this configuration. That doesn't happen until April. So early 2026, I would say, is a time to be still. It's a time to wrap up old cycles. It's a time to, if there's grief around what we're letting go, that's okay too. And so it's a time to grieve and to accept that and to sit with ourselves, maybe some cleansing salt baths that go and to process through our bodies. Because I think come February, March, April, the new is going to be overwhelming the old. You know what I mean? There won't be much looking back, I don't think, after that.
Okay, and then after the first part, what would you recommend? So we've got slowing down, stillness, maybe some salt baths. Then what would you recommend for the second?
I would say get courageous. Get ready to be courageous and to talk the talk and walk the walk. I think 2026 is going to ask all of us to step into our power and into our authenticity and to live our ideals, not to talk about them, but live them. I think Neptune in Aries leaves a lot of space for compassion. And I think I want to remind us all that while there might be things going on globally that we have no control over, we have so much impact when we can support one another in community. I think that is one of the most beautiful possible expressions of this energy. And refinding our way back to community after the pandemic, too.
Yes. And speaking of community, you have your own community within Sovereign Community that anybody can join. She posts horoscopes every single week, so you don't have to wait for the release of our magazine. She also posts everything on her website, which will be linked in the show notes. So don't you worry, you have plenty of opportunity to connect with Arin. So it's going to be appearing in each full and new moon issue with all the horoscopes. So definitely subscribe, follow. I mean, this is just going to be such an amazing year because we have you on our team.
I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll see you on the next one. Thank you for listening. I'll be back tomorrow with more ways to step into your sovereign self as I begin the interviews with our soul-led entrepreneurs. Subscribe to our magazine and podcast and join our global community for all the magic. Details on how to find your weekly horoscopes or connect with Arin are in the show notes. And if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a review. It helps us reach our goal of guiding 5 million to their sovereign selves.